Last 3 weeks have really been an emotional roller coaster for you and your team. You get the highs of the Hail Mary pass and the win at Harvard. You get the Yankee Stadium win, and then this past week, the loss to Cornell when you're looking for a perfect season. What is the messaging for the team after going through all this, and how do you kind of guide them through these emotions?
Well, you know, they're 18 to 22-year-old guys, so they will naturally have their ups and downs. The big thing, focus on the positive things that we did in each of the ball games, things that we can correct as we go forward. You want guys to be a kind of an apex emotionally, physically, and everything else. It doesn't happen week after week. It's the reason you don't see a whole lot of undefeated teams around the country. We didn't win the ball game. There were mistakes that we made, things we can correct, and the focus now is, hey, we've got an opportunity to play a better ball game this week, and certainly that's what we'll be counting on.
And the offense the last few weeks has struggled a little bit. Hadn't had more than 300 yards of offense the last few weeks. What are you doing to address that for your team?
Well, again, you take a look at the collective body of work, things that we may have misfired on, to adjust based on the schematics that you're going to see with the upcoming opponent. And then just supporting the guys that are doing it. You know, we've had a couple of bumps and nicks and so forth. We got a new guy that comes in at a running back position or the quarterback position, wide receiver spot, and offensive line position. We expect you to perform at a high level. And the comfort level they'll have successive weeks after taking more snaps in the previous week should ensure that you have a pretty good production as you get into your next game.
One person who performed well this past week and got a lot of opportunities, which he hasn't had most of the year, is Isaiah Swan. Had a pick six, 69-yard return, plus he broke up 5 other passes throughout the game. You know, were you surprised that they went at Isaiah as much as they did?
Yeah, no, Swan, he's come back into mid-season form. The injuries hampered him a little bit, and I think his confidence, this was wonderful for his confidence. Just the fact that he was breaking on the ball, he was seeing things well, he has a tendency to bait people into a throw, and then certainly his athleticism, catching the football and reacting after the catch. And that was a big emotional lift for us, the big touchdown turn, because not a whole lot was happening on either side of the football. We just didn't capitalize on it from that point. But he's a solid football player for us. We've got one more game against a team that throws the ball a bunch, so we expect him to come out with an A game.
And speaking of Brown, you've got the team that's just came off a win over Columbia that ended a 20-game in-conference losing streak. Brown has been putting up points just about against everybody. So how do you feel that you can slow down this Brown offense?
Well, as usual, it's a collective effort. One, keep them on the sideline. So from our offensive perspective, we want to control the football, be methodical moving it down. Certainly you have a big play opportunity, we're going to take that, and we've had a lot of those during the course of the year. From a defensive standpoint, we need to pressure the passer. That's an unsettling commodity for any quarterback. We did not do a great job with Cornell this week. He sat back a little bit and did a real good job throwing the football. Pressure. We have to maybe send a 5th or a 6th guy on occasion just to mix up the reads. We've got to play very, very aggressive coverage in the back end because they'll be, again, methodical, work it down the field, but they also have the ability to throw the ball deep. And when you put up 30, 35 points a game, the quarterback is doing a pretty good job with it. They've got a good core of receivers, so the layered effect, pressure the quarterback, cover zones underneath, and then tight coverage in the back end. And that's hopefully is a recipe for limiting their success.
Last thing I want to ask you about, Coach, this is the last game for a lot of your players. You've got a big senior class here. They've had a big impact on the program. What has that meant to Dartmouth football going forward?
Well, certainly you hate to say it's the last. My view is I want it to be their best. To come together. We don't make a big deal of it, and certainly the seniors understand and they know, but there's so much on the game. Going out and having an opportunity to finish up on a positive note, looking and reflecting on their 4 years of work and what they've accomplished is pretty special. We've had wonderful guys, we've had great leadership. We have 2 identified captains, but there could have been 15 or 18 of them. And the fact that they just meshed and gelled from so many different areas of the country and backgrounds and life experiences, it says an awful lot for Dartmouth and for the quality of the kids. So love to see them go out on a positive note. That's the aim this week.
All right, Coach, well, good luck at Brown this weekend.
All righty, thanks, Rick.